Okay, we're live on YouTube.
Awesome. Thank you, Mark. Good afternoon, everybody. Happy Friday. Beautiful sunny afternoon. I hope that you by now have picked up your shiny new Chromebook and are excited to learn a little bit more about it here this afternoon. And then hopefully get ready to use it and have your students use it starting Monday. Just have a couple brief things that I want to highlight as far as the presentation goes this afternoon. And then we've got a chat box on the right side of your video window that you are welcome to type in a couple chat comments or questions. I've got a whole team that is here of info specialists and techs that are excited to help answer questions and work through any problems through the chat, as well as kind of help me on our live stream here. So I'm going to go ahead and pull up my presentation. Again, I thank you for joining us this afternoon. I thank you for your flexibility and your patience over the last month and a half or however long it's been. And I'm glad that we're finally able to deploy these new Chromebooks and hopefully make things smoother going forward. Hopefully you should be able to see my screen now and a new Chromebook slide up there. I'm excited to kind of just talk through a few different things and walk through some different Chromebook new tips and tricks, and then we'll, like I said, take some questions and answers in the chat. If at any time you've got a question, feel free to type it into the chat box, and like I said, we'll try to either answer it on the spot through the chat, or I'll talk about it live here also. This is the brand new device that our K-2 students received today. It is called an Acer Chromebook Spin 511. Some families have already reached out about purchasing on your own a case or extra device for protection. We do ask no stickers or other kind of decals be added to the Chromebook just to keep the Chromebook in good condition. Acer Chromebook Spin 511 has a touch screen and can be flipped all the way around to kind of act as a tablet also. Connecting to Wi-Fi is probably the biggest thing that you've hopefully already done at this point as far as getting it connected in your house. The bottom right-hand corner of your screen, or of the Chromebook screen, has the clock and the little Wi-Fi symbol and the battery. When you connect, or when you click on that, it pops up a new box that says not connected, and then you can click on that Wi-Fi box that you see there to get it connected to your home network. Signing into the Chromebook. This is the one that we'll probably talk about for a few minutes here, and hope to answer any questions that you might have. The device, or when you picked up the device today, you got a white piece of paper with a login information with the Google account, as well as the QR codes at the bottom. The QR codes are new today, and we're we're implementing a system called Clever that helps us log into the Chromebooks, and especially for our K-2 students, we're excited because this should make logging into the Chromebooks a lot easier. And just holding up that QR code should allow them to log right in without ever having to type in their email address or password and having to learn all those keys and combinations. So what this looks like now, there's no great way for me to share my screen other than just kind of the screenshots that are here. So I'm going to hold up a Chromebook in my window and see if that helps at all and helps us be able to see this. But like I said, I apologize that I'm going to kind of demo this live holding up a Chromebook instead of screen sharing, but no good way to do that at this point. So I've got a student Chromebook and it's got the login screen here. You can see just kind of the white box that says sign into your Chromebook. Then there's a blue box down in the bottom right that says next. When I click on that next button, and I can just tap on it because it's a touch screen. When I click on that, it brings up the QR code scanner. With that QR code scanner, it says Clever on the box and says hold up your camera or hold up your badge to the box. That badge that it's talking about is really just my QR code. So if I hold up my QR code to the camera right now, it is going to automatically sign me in to my Chromebook. When it signs me into my Chromebook, I did not have to type in any email address or any password. It just signed me in because that QR code is tied directly to me. You notice that if I take a little while on this camera screen, it says down at the bottom, are you having trouble logging in? Click on the login button to log in with your username and password. So if I go ahead and do that, I log in or I tap that button. Now I have the ability to click on the sign in with Google button and type in my actual email address and password. So either option is available for you to sign in either with the camera, the QR code, or your Google account information. Now I went ahead and went back one more screen here. I'm back on this initial sign-in screen. Again, if the QR code gets misplaced or you don't want to sign in with the QR code, from this main kind of login screen, you can always tap at the top where it says sign in with a different account. And when I tap in that or tap on that sign in with a different account, it brings me right to the box to type in my actual email account or my Google account information. So I could bypass the camera and the QR code completely and just sign in using my Google account information. So a couple different ways. Again, that main sign in screen, I'm going to go ahead back and share my presentation again. I can click back on this screenshot here. I can click the sign in with a different account or click on the next. The next takes me to that QR code scanner where I just scan one of the two QR codes that was provided with the Chromebook today. Or I can click the sign in with a different account and I can sign right in using the Google account information. The next screen that we see here is just the picture of the camera. And then again, if you scan the QR code, it takes you right into the Chromebook. If you don't, you can click on the blue login button and sign in with the Google account information. Once you get signed into your Chromebook or you're signed into your child's Chromebook, you will be automatically taken to our new student landing page. We're calling this our student resources page. This page launches automatically the first time logged into a Chromebook and continues to be the home page on all of our student Chromebooks going forward. So at the address bar in your URL, there's a little house right next to that at the top in the Chrome browser. Clicking on that house or that home button will always bring you back to this student resources page. You can also see that at the bottom of this screen, we've got student.d46.org listed there. That is a way to access this web page from anywhere else. So on another device or anytime, just typing that into the web address, the URL bar will also take you right to this new student landing page or student resource page. From here, the two big things right at the top that I want to point out or the three icons that are there. The first one is Seesaw. Clicking on that big Seesaw button will take your students right to Seesaw. And since we're primarily targeting K-2 with this particular call this afternoon, that's the big one. Google Classroom and our students in 3 through 8 have that quick link. And then our Destiny Discovery Library Catalog, that shortcut is there as well. Since I've got a handful of our awesome info specialists on the call with me today, I want to make sure you I give a shout out to checking out library books. If you haven't already heard information from them, you will very soon, or you'll hear it again about checking out library books now and being able to pick those up from your school. So the quick shortcut and the link to do that is listed right there at student.d46.org. Logging into some of our other tools, Seesaw, and some of the different websites and apps and tools that our students are using, we, as many times as we can from the district side, we are setting up a sign-in with Google opportunity for our students. So that makes life easier for you, for them, for our teachers, and for the district for management purposes. So anytime you see a sign in with Google button there, when your child's teacher has said, all right, you're going to go to Seesaw to log in, you do not need to type in the email address and password again. Just click on that sign in with Google button and it will automatically connect with the account, and it may ask for an approval, but then it should sign you right into the child's Seesaw account or their specific account that has already been created for them, depending on the variety of tools. Again, as many things as we can across the district, we are connecting with that Google account just to make life easier for you and for your students. I'm going to stop briefly and say, yeah, I'll keep going. The chat box is open on the right-hand side of your screen. Feel free to pop any questions or comments into that chat box. We've got, again, a great team on standby, hoping or available to help answer those questions, and then I will do my best in just a couple minutes to take a look at those and see what we can answer live. Also, accessories, just real quickly, I mentioned the case at the start of this call. Any other external monitors or external mouses we do not provide, as this is a brand new device to our K-2 students, and this kind of 101 initiative, if you will, is new. Just wanted to remind you of those things, that they're kind of not provided or supported by D46. Those are really the direct kind of informational items and things that I wanted to cover. The signing into the device itself, using the Google button to sign into other websites, and then the new student landing page that should automatically launch. I am hopeful that you may have some questions or comments that you can throw into the chat box, and I'd be happy to answer any of those. Otherwise, and I'm going to throw it to my team. I'm looking at the chat, but I'm not seeing a whole lot. I'm also open to info specialists if you have seen or heard of other big things today. I will say that I heard one that one of the Chromebooks that was deployed this morning and used this afternoon seemed to be a little slow-ish. I will say that I feel pretty confident that that device might have been updating its operating system, and so it was just taking a little extra work on that device to get fully updated and ready to go. So I'm pretty confident that after an initial use that it should be updated and moving more smoothly now. Info specialists, anything else that we could talk about? Otherwise, I'll probably run through this whole thing again in about 10 or 15 minutes, but wanted to answer any questions that we might have seen. I click back here for a second. I'm not seeing many questions, which is a good thing. Again, it's this could be a hour and a half of the Chris Vipon podcast webinar. That could be a long hour and a half. I appreciate those of you joining the live stream, and I did have a question just come in, so I will chat about that. There is a difference between the K2, the new Acer Chromebooks, and our 3.8 Lenovo Chromebooks that our 3rd through 8th grade students have been using, and it is a stylus difference. Our 3rd through 8th grade Chromebooks are used to a stylus that slides into the bottom of the device. Our new K2 device does not have a built-in stylus. There are a couple different reasons for that. This model is just not designed to use that finer tip stylus. I will say the pen that I happen to be holding right now has the kind of the rubber tip stylus on it, and that does work on these devices. So this rubber tip stylus can be found at the checkout of Walgreens or Dollar Store or Target or anywhere, and any of those simple rubber tip stylus will work on this device, but it is not necessary at all. I know that especially for our younger students, writing on a touch screen sometimes it gives a whole different feel for writing on paper and pencil. So while we're trying to develop those writing habits on paper and pencil, having that stylus sometimes just kind of messes up with the handwriting habits. So a stylus is not necessary for our K2 students. If you find that it does provide some benefit and helps your particular child, you can offer that. At some point in the future, we'll continue to evaluate the need for a rubber tip stylus for our students or not. I'm taking a look at another question. Can you please demonstrate how to change it from Chromebook mode to tablet mode? I believe I can do that. Thank you for the question. The device is, we're going to actually use it. So I've got the device here. I'm going to flip it on around. And as soon as I flipped it around, I lost it on the camera. And I should actually go out of presentation mode so that you can see me full screen. And flipped it into tablet mode. So now I'm in tablet mode, and I can just flip it back around and back into Chromebook mode. I think. What other questions do we have? Anything from, if you're just joining us, I appreciate you joining us. Thanks for hopping in. I am chit-chatting through a few different things and am looking for any questions in the chat box on the right side of the YouTube video. If you have questions there, feel free to type them in, and I've got an awesome team, info specialists. I greatly appreciate you joining me on a Friday afternoon, end of the week, and helping to moderate as well as pop in with some questions. I had a question come in, I think, that says, asking about caps lock, info specialists. Thanks for being here. K-2 families, thank you for being here also. I know, again, I thank you for your patience and flexibility over the last month and a half of the school year, starting with either a temporary device or your own personal device. Thank you for your understanding and patience. I am going to pause for a drink of water here for just a second. Again, thanks for hanging out with us this afternoon. Anybody out there, if you got any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat box. We'll be happy to respond either in the chat box or live. I'll do my best to answer any questions that you might have. I will go through in about probably 5 minutes. I'll go through a couple slides again on logging into your Chromebook and logging into the other sites that you might be using. If you have specific questions, though, we'd love to address those. There have been some questions about these devices. So brand new, they honestly were unboxed earlier this week and deployed to all of our K-2 students right now. These devices will be in our district for the next 3 years. It is my, honestly, the biggest goal at this point has been to get them out to our students as quickly as possible. The rollout plan from there is a little tentative right now. If our second graders will keep this device and move on with it to third grade next year, or if we will get our third graders a different device to continue with the one-to-one initiative that is already in 3 through 8. There may be an obvious answer there. However, it has not been fully discussed at this point, as like I said, the biggest goal is just getting these devices out to our K-2 students as quickly as possible. As you know, our 3rd through 8th graders are part of a one-to-one take-home program. Our K-2 students have not been a part of that program, even having these devices right now. We likely, if and when there's a return to full in-person learning, the devices would likely stay at school at this point. Obviously, there is a lot that can change between now and then, and that entire rollout or return to school will also change those plans accordingly, or those plans will kind of dictate what happens with the Chromebooks going forward. I think I might as well run through my slides another time here. It's kind of go from there. Info specialist, anyone want to? Hey, we do have a new question in the chat. Aaron, thank you for that heads up. This not easy. Did you talk about the stylus? Is what would be kidding one? What kind should we purchase? All right, and thank you. And there are now a couple different comments in the chat. First one, I apologize about not or having it be kind of difficult to type in the chat box there. The info specialist, I'm going to ask if one of you has any insight on making that a little easier. Will you share with me any tips to do that so that I can share that? Or info specialist, hop on in and share if you have any tips on that. Jeremy, the question about styluses, that is a good question. I will go over it. The new K2 Acer Chromebooks do not have a built-in stylus. It's just simply the model and the style of Chromebook that we have. They will, however, work with a soft tip rubber tip stylus. You can get this soft tip rubber stylus from anywhere. The Walgreens checkout counter usually has them. Target, Jewel even has them sometimes. Any rubber tip, soft tip stylus should work with this touch screen. I will say that our younger kids, and I gave this spiel a little bit ago, but sometimes our younger students, and in conversations that I've had with our occupational therapists in the past, as well as our kindergarten teachers, as we're starting that letter formation on paper and pencil with our younger students, sometimes giving them a stylus on a touchscreen device can kind of throw off the letter formation on a touchscreen. So having a rubber tip stylus can play into that. Having a nicer stylus sometimes adds to that difficulty or takes away from it. There's just all depends on the child. So while a stylus may benefit you or your child, feel free to try out a rubber tip stylus, but it is not necessary. Obviously, with the touch screen, the touch with just a finger will work as well. Awesome. Thank you for those questions. I appreciate it. If you have follow-ups there or would like more info or have different questions, feel free to continue throwing those in the chat box. I will go over a couple more slides here. I'm going to present my screen and share just a couple other little tips or tricks on logging in and getting started. Once again, I do want to thank, I've got members from our tech department. I've got info specialists from nearly every one of our schools across the district. Info specialist and Mark, I really appreciate your time and being on this afternoon and helping moderate the chat and any of your support that you continue to provide to our students and families. We do have the Acer Chromebook Spin 511. I know a number of families have reached out asking about adding a case to the Chromebook. Again, that is something that the district does not provide, but if you need to do that, you can or want to do that. Here's the model information to help you in searching for a kind of a snap-on case, if you will. Just a reminder that we do ask that stickers and other decals not be added to the Chromebook, just to preserve the life of the device. Connecting to Wi-Fi, one of the first things that if you haven't done already after picking up your device, you're going to want to do soon. Bottom right corner of the screen, as you see in the couple different screenshots there, is the clock and the battery icon. Once you click on that, it brings up this bigger menu that you see on the right side. This menu offers a bunch of different options, one of them being Wi-Fi, and you can click on the little Wi-Fi symbol there and select your home network. The next thing that you'll want to do is help your child get logged into the device. Logging into the device, as soon as you open it up, it takes it a second, but will bring you to this sign-in screen that you see. It says sign into your Chromebook. On this sign-in screen, there are two different blue items that we may or may not click on, and the first one is the blue next button down in the bottom right-hand corner. And the blue next button will take you to a screen that looks like this. And again, it's kind of small on my screen, but hopefully you can see it here. This screen is actually the camera screen on your Chromebook. And right away, it takes you to a camera and allows you to scan the QR code. So today, when you picked up your child's Chromebook, you got two different QR codes as well as the Google account information on that piece of paper. holding up one of those QR codes to this camera screen will automatically log you into the Chromebook without having to type in an email address or a password at all. That is hopefully the easiest way to sign in for our K-2 students. That's a newer thing that we're implementing for our K-2 students, is starting really today, to try to eliminate the need to type in that email address and password every time they sign in. So again, I'm going to go back a slide here. On this screen, the sign into your Chromebook screen, clicking on the blue next button, and then getting the camera up and just scanning in the QR code, or scanning the QR code automatically logs you in. However, you can see in this screenshot down towards the bottom, it says, are you having trouble logging into your Chromebook with the badge or with the QR code? You can click on the blue button to sign in with your Google account. So if you click on that blue sign or blue login button, it will allow the student to then type in their Google account information, district email address, and password to get signed into the device that way. I'm going to go back one screen. If that QR code just simply is not working or is not the way that you want to sign in, using the blue lines or those blue words up at the top that say sign in with a different account, clicking on that will automatically bring you to a email address or Google account sign-in screen and allows you or your child to sign in with and type in their Google account information. So a couple different ways to sign in there, either signing in with Google account information, signing in with the QR code. Again, the goal is that the QR code makes life easier for all of us, especially our youngest students, our kindergartners and first grade students. But it is personal preference, and after a few days, I'm sure that the students will get the hang of either one of those sign-in options. Once you get signed into the device, the Chromebook will automatically launch our student landing page. It's our newer student resources page. And on this page, there are a number of different links and buttons that can take our students to many of the different websites and tools that they are using with their teachers on a regular basis. The first one and the biggest one that I want to highlight is Seesaw. So as soon as this page opens, you see the Seesaw button there. Our students can click right on Seesaw or tap right on that Seesaw button, and it will launch into the Seesaw website, hopefully making that as quick and easy to navigate and access Seesaw for our K-2 students. I do want to point out, while it's not in the screenshot here, at the top of the Chrome browser, there's the address bar, the URL bar, and then just to the left of that is the little house icon. It's the home button icon in the Chrome browser. Anytime clicking on that home button will automatically bring you back to this same page as well. So no matter what site or website or app a student might be on, as soon as they click on that home button, it will take them back to this student resources page for easy navigation going forward. So we're, again, the info specialists have done a great job helping to create and tweak this page, and I appreciate all of their hard work to make this page as easy and as helpful for our students as possible. While I'm here, one thing I have not mentioned yet, in the top right corner of this page, again, the screenshot's a little small, I apologize, but there's a button that says tech support. That button will take you to some tech support tips and tricks and allow you to submit a help desk ticket to our tech team as well. So that tech support button is always up there and available for our students. On just about any website or tool that our students might be using, we try as much as we can at the district level to create our student accounts with the Google connection. So if there is a sign in with Google button, I highly recommend your child clicking on that button. That saves him or her from having to type in a long email address or password. And since they are already logged into their district Chromebook using their Google account information, when they click on the sign in with Google button, it will typically automatically connect them and just take them right to the website. There might be an approval box that pops up, but again, signing in with Google always makes our lives easier, especially for our younger students. Couple quick reminders: accessories are not supported or provided by D46. These include a case or an external monitor, or sometimes a USB mouse and an external mouse. These are things that, again, simply not supported or provided by D46, but we know sometimes they can make lives easier on your own. Those are the big things that I have at this moment. I, again, am open to, and I keep glancing over, checking the chat box to see if anything new pops in. I do want to continue to give a big thank you to our info specialist for hanging out this afternoon, as well as Mark from the tech team. Thank you, K2 families, for all of your flexibility and patience over the last month and a half as we have been dealing with our temporary devices as well as personal devices through the start of the school year on with remote learning. But I truly appreciate your flexibility. I do have to tell you that the day that I heard that our Chromebooks were arriving, I read the email sitting here in my office and then went running out into the hallway, and I was jumping up and down. So that's a true story. Or fortunately, there was only one other person in the building that got to be a part of that excitement. But I'm excited, and I believe most of our teachers. I saw a teacher today. I stopped by most of the buildings to check on the deployment at the schools, and I saw a teacher doing a nice little happy dance also, who was equally excited. So those are great things. I continue to be excited about having these devices available for our students. I am going to go ahead and take a real quick break here, I believe, and we'll see info specialist if you have anything coming in on your end, or if you have anything else for me. Otherwise, I'm going to mute my mic and my camera for just a minute, and we'll pick back up shortly. And that was perfect. I took a minute to catch my breath, then a question came in the chat box. I appreciate you chiming in with your questions. Is there a fee for the Chromebook? At this point, I will tell you that there is not a fee for our K2 Chromebooks. And myself being new to the district, I was not a part of the initial rollout of our 1-to-1 for 3 through 8, but it is my understanding that there was an additional student fee or tech fee with those. Since our K2 Chromebooks do not have that additional fee right now, and our plan at this point is that when we are back in person for in-person learning, the K2 devices will be staying at school. And so because of that, there's no additional fee at this time or in the plans currently. So no additional fee for the K2 Chromebooks. Obviously, right now, being remote and whatever changes might come in the next month or two and upcoming weeks, will all the device will continue to be a topic of discussion, and making sure that obviously the device is available to make life easier for our students. And that's been our primary focus. As long as we can make the device available for our students and to help ease any stresses on remote learning, we want to make sure that we do that. But again, at this point, no additional fee for the Chromebooks. Good question. Another good question just came in. Thank you, Kirsten. The QR code that you were provided with today will only work on for the sign-in into the Chromebook. I know there's an option in Seesaw to sign in with a QR code, and some other apps and websites are now offering a QR code sign-in. This QR code that was printed on the sign-in sheet that you picked up today, that QR code is only to sign into our district Chromebooks. So that same Chromebook you got today, this QR code will work on, and not necessarily, unfortunately, but will not work in many other places or any other places. I'm also seeing a question about our Chromebooks, and as you can see on that sign-in screen, I think I can get to it. If you take a look, and again, it is very small, but on this sign-in screen, it says this device is managed by d46.org and requires you to sign in every time. The biggest thing there is the managed by D46. Our Chromebooks are managed by our district and by the tech department, and only allow D46 accounts to sign into them. Simply a safety and security setting that helps protect our students, helps protect our devices, and again keeps everybody safer. So only allowing our students to sign into their district accounts on our district devices is how our district is currently set up. We also strongly encourage and ask that our students use our district provided device. There are a number of reasons for that. A couple of them simply include the idea that our district device in this brand new K-2 Acer Chromebook is just that. It's brand new. It allows us from a tech team to help troubleshoot any issues that might arise a whole lot easier. And it helps in making sure that our classroom teachers are able to provide a consistent set of directions and consistent set of guidance when creating assignments and assigning different projects to our students. So using the district provided devices certainly are our encouragement, and we know and we believe that will provide a better experience for all of our students and teachers by doing that. We do have an additional piece of management software that is on all of our student Chromebooks that basically sets some working hours for our students, and that management software is called GoGuardian. It allows the Chromebook to essentially be disconnected from the internet during certain hours, and the district has had set hours for over a year now, probably a year and a half since our 101 initiative at the 3 through 8 levels, that from 10 p.m. until 6 a.m. the district feels that our students should likely not be using their devices during those times. And so though that is one piece that is managed by the district also, and helps encourage some healthy habits by encouraging all of us. I'll tell a brief story. Earlier this week, one of our info specialists was working on creating some documents and some resources, and had a student Chromebook and was working until 10 p.m. And at 10 p.m., the device that she was working on basically locked her out. And she sent a message to the rest of the team saying that it was she wanted to keep working, and my response was, it's time to go to bed. But I kind of comical for us as adults, but again, best practice thing for our students. A quick thank you again, and in case anybody's just joining us, I'm very thankful and appreciative for our info specialists that have joined me this afternoon to help either moderate questions in the chat box on the right side of the live stream, or to help feed me some questions and some talking points for our hour-and-a-half session this afternoon. So I continue to thank you. I also thank our K2 families that have logged on to join with any questions. And I, again, thank you, and I appreciate your patience and support as we've gone through the last month and a half here with temporary devices and personal devices. Thank you all for your patience during that time. I'm going to go ahead and take another quick breath and catch back up in just a minute. Hey there, for anyone just joining us, I will get started in just a couple minutes. I'll go through a couple tips and tricks, a couple different slides here with a couple reminders, and I'll do that starting in just a minute or two if you want to hang out. Otherwise, any specific questions that you might have, feel free to go ahead and put those in the chat box on the right side of the YouTube video stream. Again, I'll get started in just a couple minutes with a few more tips and tricks. Hey there, everybody. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, I appreciate you being here. My name is Chris Vipon. I'm the Director of Technology here in CCSD 46. I am really excited today for a number of different reasons. First and foremost, we have new Chromebooks for our K-2 students. I want to thank our K-2 families, our K-2 students, and our K-2 teachers for all of the patience and flexibility that you have all shown over the last month and a half. And I am excited that now that we have the devices in our hands, things should be a little bit smoother and easier for all of us. I also want to thank Mark from the tech department. I also want to thank all of our info specialists. I believe just about all of them have joined at some point this afternoon to be a part of helping answer questions in the chat box and helping me answer some questions along the way also. I am going to simply go through a few different slides here and talk through a couple different things that would hopefully be helpful and useful as you get started on or help your student get started with their new Chromebook that they picked up today. So as I talk through a few different things, if you have any questions, feel free to throw them in the chat box on the right-hand side. Our K-2 students received today the Acer Chromebook Spin 511. This is slightly different than the Lenovo Chromebook that our 3rd through 8th grade students have been using. However, the basic functions of the device are the exact same. Once logged in, it still functions as any other Chromebook would. And the only real difference, it still has a touch screen. You can see that it can still be spun around to turn into a tablet mode. And it has the same basic functionality of our 3rd through 8th grade Chromebook. The big difference is the stylus, and that has been a question that has come up. Our 3rd through 8th graders have access to a stylus that is built right into their device. Our K2 device, this Acer Chromebook Spin 511, does not have a stylus with it. Just simply not a feature of this device. However, as I hold the pen that is in my hand right now, there's a rubber tip stylus on the back of that pen. That rubber tip stylus can be used on this Acer Chromebook. So that type of stylus is easily found at a store if you choose, or if you would like to use one of a rubber tip stylus for your student. However, in talking to many of our kindergarten teachers and oftentimes talking to occupational therapists, sometimes developmentally, it is simply not a good idea for our youngest students to be using a stylus and rather just using their finger on a touchscreen device. This is because when we start teaching and when we continue working on handwriting skills on paper and pencil, we know that transferring that handwriting skill from paper and pencil to transferring it to a stylus and a touch screen just are two different things and two different feels, and developmentally, those are two different things that sometimes are good to be kept separate. So just a couple quick notes about that. One of the first things that you likely did already was connecting your device, your child's new device, to your home Wi-Fi network. You can see on a couple of screenshots here, the red arrow down in the bottom right-hand corner points to the clock and the battery icon, the Wi-Fi indicator down there. Once you click on that, it brings up this kind of menu, and we can click on the Wi-Fi symbol and connect it to your home Wi-Fi network. Once connected, you should then be able to see a login screen, and we can start talking about logging into the device. For our K2 devices that were rolled out today, we have a new option for logging in. So there are really two ways that a student can log into this device. I'm going to talk about the use of the QR code first. The QR code was provided at the bottom of the login sheet that was provided with the Chromebook. That QR code, there are two of the exact same QR codes, so they can be cut apart and stored in two different parts of the house, or one in the backpack and one at home. That can be used to log into the device so that the student does not have to type in an email address or a password at all. They can just simply scan that QR code on the Chromebook's camera and be logged in. So let's talk about what that looks like, and then I'll talk about the second option for logging in. So on this screen, I can click on the blue Next button on the Chromebook. When I click on that blue Next button, it automatically pulls up the camera for the Chromebook. Now, my screenshot shows a black camera image, but if I was live right now, that would show the camera, and I could hold up my QR code and it would scan that QR code. When it scans that QR code, it automatically takes me into the Chromebook, into my personal account, and launches the student landing page for me. You can see a couple things here. If for some reason my QR code has trouble scanning, a box pops up at the bottom of the screen that says having issues or don't have your badge, log in with your username and password. Clicking on that blue login button will take you to a login screen that allows you to sign in with Google and type in a district Google account and password. So that same information is another way. If the QR code presents any troubles at all, you can simply click on that blue login button at the bottom of this window and still log in using the Google account or the district Google account information that was provided. I'm going to go back one screen and show one other way to log in using the Google account. If scanning the QR code or the QR code is not your child's preferred method to log in, there is a button right here on the sign into your Chromebook screen. It says in blue, sign in with a different account. Clicking on those blue words is a link that takes you right to a sign-in box to type in your child's Google account information. So typing in their Google account and then an email address and then password will allow them to sign in that way as well. So a couple different options. Either using the blue next button to scan the QR code or signing in with the Google account information. Either way works. Either way takes you automatically into your child's account and automatically launches our student.d46.org student landing page. This student landing page is newer, and I want to give a big thank you to our district informational specialists who have worked hard on this page over the last few weeks to launch this and make it an easy launching place for all of our students. This page launches automatically when our students log into the Chromebook. And for our K-2 students, you can see an icon there that you are probably familiar with in Seesaw. Clicking on that Seesaw icon will take our students to the Seesaw webpage and allow them to access their student or their teacher's classroom in Seesaw. This page is also set as the home page for all K-2 students and actually all K-8 students across the district. So the home button you can click on the little icon of the house in the top left of the URL bar or just to the left of the URL bar. Clicking on that house at any time or that home button will automatically take our students back to this page. We've got the Seesaw icon there for our K-2 students, Google Classroom for our 3-8 students, and then you see the Destiny button for all of our students as a way to check out books through their school library. Again, a huge thank you and shout out to our info specialists for making that available to our students. If you have questions about that, feel free to reach out to the info specialist or to your child's classroom teacher for more information about checking out books during our remote learning time. One last thing about this page. Top right corner of the screen, there is a button that says tech support. Clicking on that button will bring you to a page of tips and tricks for troubleshooting, and then the opportunity to submit a help desk ticket and contact our tech staff for additional support that you may need. Signing in with Google is always encouraged. Anytime our teachers use a tool or website and you are asked to go sign in to a website, there is likely going to be a sign in with Google button. I always encourage our K-2 students to use that sign in with Google button because it makes life so much easier. Clicking on that button connects to the student's Google account, and they typically don't have to type in their email address or their password. It just connects. There might be an approve or allow button that pops up, but clicking on that will connect and get the students right into the site that they need to get into. This is especially true for Seesaw and many of the other sites that our students are using in their learning. Last little reminder here, accessories that may be wanted or maybe wanted are not supported or provided by D46. These include but are not limited to a case, an external monitor, or an external mouse. Again, on the case, the model is our Acer Chromebook Spin 511. We just continue to ask that stickers or other decals not be placed on the Chromebook just to help preserve the life of the Chromebook. And with that, I will continue to keep an eye on the live chat for any questions that you might have. Feel free to insert them or add them to the chat. Otherwise, feel free to reach out to your info specialist or the tech department using that support.d46.org webpage for any additional questions. Thank you all. It's a beautiful sunny Friday afternoon. I hope that you all have a great weekend. Hey there, guys. If you're just joining us, I want to welcome you and congratulate you on making it through a month and a half of remote learning with a temporary device and or a personal device. And I congratulate you and I thank you for your patience and flexibility on doing that. Thank you. My name is Chris Vipon. I'm the Director of Technology here in CCSD 46. We've got a great team of info specialists who have joined me this afternoon, as well as a couple members of our tech department. I am extremely grateful to each of them for all of their help so far this year in many different areas, but especially with our K-2 Chromebooks. So a huge thank you to them. I greatly appreciate all that they continue to do for our students and teachers. I'm going to highlight a couple things real quickly, and please know that if you're just joining us and haven't seen the couple slides that I'm going to talk through yet, feel free to reach out and ask any questions on the right side of the chat box, or at any time, if you have questions, you may also email me with those questions or contact the tech department, and I'll show you how to do that here in just a second. So I'm going to go through a couple slides real quickly. And just to show you that the Acer Chromebook Spin 511 is the Chromebook that you picked up this afternoon for your students. It is a slightly different model than your 3rd through 8th grade students might or have. And the only real difference is about a stylus. The 3rd through 8th grade device has a built-in stylus. The K2 device does not. So it would simply respond with a rubber tip stylus of any kind that can be picked up anywhere, Walgreens, Target, those kinds of places. The next thing real quickly here is connecting it to Wi-Fi. You can do that by clicking on the clock icon, and that'll bring up a new menu on the right side. And then the Wi-Fi icon there is available to be picked up on or connected to your Wi-Fi network. I am hearing in the chat box that my video feed is a little wonky right now, and I'm pretty confident that is because the beautiful sun rays are shining through my window and right onto my camera. So I apologize for the wonkiness. I'm not going to stand up and close the curtains at the moment, or the blinds at the moment, because that is what is giving me the beautiful natural light for this video feed. So I will go ahead and keep us moving with a little bit of natural light on me. I apologize. That is pretty distracting, but we'll keep going real quick. There are 2 different ways that you can sign in using the paper that was supplied with the district Chromebook today, either the QR codes or the email address and the password. The screenshot on your screen, if you click on the blue next button, takes you to a camera that you can scan in using the QR code scanner. Or you can click on these words, the blue words, sign in with a different account, and that will allow you to type in the email address and password. If I click on that next button down at the bottom, it brings me to the QR code scanner, and the camera pops up immediately. My screenshot here shows a black camera screen, but really that would be the live camera view, and I can just hold up my QR code to the camera. The paper has 2 different codes. It is actually the same code, just duplicated, so you could cut them apart and put them in 2 different places for your student if that would be easier. You also see at the bottom of this screen, it says, are you having trouble logging in with the QR code? Click on the blue login button to log in with your username and password. That is an option as well. The QR code is simply an added bonus for our younger students as a way to allow the students to sign in without having to enter a username and password, or their email address and password. A couple of quick notes about the new student landing page. This is our student resources page. This automatically launches for our students as soon as they sign into the Chromebook. Our K2 students are then able to click on the Seesaw button, take them right to Seesaw. Older students can use that Google Classroom button, and then all of our students have access to the Destiny Discovery Library catalog for your school as a way to check out books remotely during this time. Not in this screenshot, but farther down, there are additional buttons for each of the school websites and each grade level band to help direct you to some additional resources and websites. Top of this page has a tech support button. That tech support button is a way to access submitting a help desk ticket to our tech team. And finally, I'll point out that student.d46.org is the short URL that will help access this webpage from any device. Real quickly, any device that you might, or anytime a student is accessing a website, Seesaw or otherwise, clicking the sign in with Google button is the easiest way to sign into that device and the easiest way to access, easiest way to sign into that website or that app. Next, just a quick reminder that accessories for the student Chromebook are not supported or provided by D46. We provide the charger and the Chromebook itself. And we also encourage and remind our students and families not to place any additional stickers or decals on the device, just to help keep the device clean and in nice working condition. I appreciate all of you and any of you that have stuck around or joined us this afternoon to check out some additional information. If you have additional questions, feel free to submit them in the chat box, reach out to me directly, or like I said, visit support.d46.org to submit a help desk ticket. Thank you so much for joining us. I hope that you have a great weekend, and I hope that next week is a wonderful week of remote teaching and learning for our K-2 students and families with the new devices. Again, thank you all. I really appreciate your time, and I wish you all a great weekend.